This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, it's Jeff Carter, and welcome you to another sports catastrophe birthday boy. And this birthday boy is another basketball player. I know usually I'm not supposed to really go back to back with sports and all that on sports, but basically I had no choice. This man led the Detroit Pistons to 2 NBA titles. Basically, he was a thorn in the side of Michael Jordan's behind, and basically he's beloved for it. Well, why not? He was a big point guard, 12-time NBA All-Star. Played his entire career with Detroit. He played college ball for Bobby Knight in the Indiana Hoosiers, getting him to the NCAA title as a sophomore, and then subsequently going to the Pistons in the 81 NBA draft, and then he did all well. He was an executive with the Toronto Raptors, a commentator and executive with the Continental Basketball Association, head coach of the Pacers, and a head coach of the New York Knicks. He was president and part owner of the Knicks WNBA team, the New York Liberty. So anyway, he was recruited to play for the Indiana Hoosiers. Basically, Bobby Knight was a troublemaker. However, Isiah's brothers wanted him to attend DePaul, which is a pretty good university of powerhouse. Basically, he tried to embarrass Isiah by insulting an Indian coach. However, Thomas's mother wanted him to go to Indiana because getting to Bloomington would be good for his son, as would Knight's discipline. Anyway, Knight got angry to Isiah Thomas's things and basically said that no player, no matter how talented, is bigger than Knight's philosophy. However, he became a fan favorite with both Bobby Knight and Indiana fans. And basically, fans would actually have bed sheets with quotations from the book of Isaiah in the Bible, and a little child shall lead them, and made him Mr. Wonderful. He was 6'1", a short statue for college ball that is. However, Thomas would help the Hoosiers win the Big Ten championship and get to the Sweet 16 in 1980. However, the next year would be much better. He was named captain. Thomas basically helped Indiana out. So anyway, Isiah would help the Pacers, the Hoosiers win the 1981 NCAA tournament. Of course, it was mired in controversy because that was the same day as Ronald Reagan being shot at by John Hinckley. And so basically, the sophomore was the most outstanding player, but he made himself eligible for the draft. I don't know why. I mean, right off the bat, I guess he figured that, he needed to do something. Dallas and Detroit were up for the number 1 pick, and at that time, before 1985, the worst teams in each conference would send a representative to New York with a coin flip. Whoever won the coin flip would get number 1. Number 2 would go to the other team. Dallas won and picked Mark Aguirre from DePaul, the school that Isiah Thomas almost went to. But basically, Aguirre was a decent player for Dallas. And then when he went to Detroit as part of the 1989 squad that won the title with the Bad Boys thing, then things looked good. Isiah would be second picked by Detroit. Buck Williams would go third to New Jersey. Al Wood. Who the hell is Al Wood? He went to Atlanta, and then Danny Fraines went fifth to Seattle. Thanks. However, the first round in 1981 was huge because Orlando Woolridge from Notre Dame went to Chicago. Tom Chambers from Utah went to the San Diego Clippers. Rolando Blackman went from Kansas State to Dallas. Kelly Tripucka, Notre Dame guy, went to Detroit. Larry Nance from Clemson to the Phoenix Suns. And Danny Ainge from BYU to the Boston Celtics. So Isiah would actually start for the Eastern Conference in the 1982 All-Star Game and make the All-Rookie team. Isiah Thomas actually had a big playoff game in 1984 against Bernard King of the New York Knicks. Thomas scored 16 points in 94 seconds to force the game into overtime. However, the Knicks won that game. Detroit had a chance to do well in the 87 playoffs against the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Detroit and Boston were tied at 2 games, but Game 5 was huge. After a ball went off Danny Ainge, all Isiah Thomas had to do was inbound the ball safely, and Detroit would win Game 5. However, Bird stole Isiah's pass meant for Lambier and flipped it to Dennis Johnson for the game-winning layup. In 1988, the Pistons got to the NBA Finals for the first time in 32 years when they would face the LA Lakers, the Showtime Lakers of Magic, Worthy, and Kareem. Isiah and Magic actually had a courtside kiss on the cheek prior to tip-off. Sign of respect. Detroit had a good feeling. They were up 3-2, headed back to Los Angeles for Games 6 and 7. He actually severely sprained his ankle late in Game 6, but he hobbled onwards and scored 25 points in the third quarter, which was an NBA Finals record. Unfortunately, the Lakers won the game on a pair of free throws from Abdul-Jabbar. Unfortunately, Isiah Thomas could not compete at full strength, and they lost Game 7. So basically, Detroit decided to play a brash and dominating brand of basketball called themselves called the Bad Boys and all that. So Thomas had Joe Dumars, Rick Mahorn, Vinnie Microwave Johnson, Dennis Rodman. Yes, Dennis Rodman played for Detroit before he played for Chicago. James Edwards, John Sally, Spider Sally, and Bill Lambier, alongside Mark McGuire. They would rematch with the LA Lakers and shockingly sweep the Lakers in 4 games. They didn't let the Lakers win the series. That's one thing, but to sweep them, wow. And then Isiah was the NBA Finals MVP in 1990 when he basically led the Pistons to a 5-game crunch time victory over the Portland Trailblazers. Unfortunately, Isiah Thomas would have to retire because of his Achilles tendon. And take it now. Thomas was part of the 1980 Olympic team. Well, it was supposed to be. Unfortunately, he couldn't go because of the boycott. Isiah did pretty well for himself. Isiah Thomas was left off the original Dream Team in 1992 because of a feud with Michael Jordan, possibly. But Magic Johnson said that he, Jordan, and other players didn't want Isiah on the Dream Team. Isiah Thomas was named to Dream Team 2 for the 94 World Championships basketball in Toronto. Sadly, though, his Achilles tendon would prevent him from playing, so that meant Kevin Johnson came in. Isiah Thomas is the founding chairman of Isiah International LLC with a diverse portfolio of business ventures and investments. That was nice. Thomas would become part owner and executive VP for the expansion Raptors in 94, which was shocking that Isiah would go from Detroit and then try to help the expansion Raptors. Hey, I like that. Unfortunately, he left the organization after a dispute with new management over the franchise's direction and responsibilities. During his tenure, though, he actually oversaw the Raptors drafting Damon Stoudemire, Marcus Camby, and Tracy McGrady, which was amazing and all that. He would become a TV commentator for NBC after leaving the Raptors. And then he became the owner of the CBA, the Continental Basketball Association. All that. Unfortunately, it folded because David Stern decided to create his own development league to replace the CBA, which is now the G League. So Isiah would become the coach of the Indiana Pacers after Larry Bird left in the 2000 season. He wanted to help young talents such as Jermaine O'Neal, Jamal Tinsley, Al Harrington, Jeff Foster do it. But the Pacers basically were not elite enough. Basically, Thomas's lack of coaching experience was the Pacers' stumbling block. Larry Bird would become the president of basketball operations for Indiana, and his first act was to replace Thomas with Rick Carlisle. However, he wasn't out of job for long, as the Knicks hired Isiah to be the president of basketball operations for the Knicks. He was very unsuccessful with the Knicks fan base. The Knicks had the highest payroll in 2006, but the second worst record. He would trade away several draft picks to Chicago for Eddie Curry. But Eddie Curry had a heart condition that basically ruined his career. The Knicks would give up what ended up being 2 lottery picks, LaMarcus Aldridge and Joakim Noah. Wow. That was huge. After the Knicks fired Larry Brown, owner James Dolan replaced Larry Brown with Thomas, saying that he had to have progress or he would be fired. Sadly, though, Thomas would be in deep trouble and all that. That was not good. Thomas would acquire Zach Randolph from the Portland Trailblazers for Steve Francis and Channing Frye. So basically, he was trying to get some power forward stuff for Steve Francis. However, Thomas would compound the Knicks' salary cap problems by signing fringe players such as Jerome James and Jarrett Jeffries, double J's, to mid-level exception contracts. Thomas said he would have no intention of leaving the Knicks until he turned it around, and said he will have a legacy with the Knicks. However, the Knicks dumped him off as president of basketball operations in April 2008. Basically, Isiah didn't do that well. He only won 34% of his games, all that, when he got fired. However, in 2009, he decided to become head basketball coach of Florida International. He actually made a splash by saying he would donate his first year's salary back to the school, saying, "I did not come here for the money." However, in his first season, he was 7-25. He wanted to be a consultant to the Knicks while coaching FIU. But Isiah would not go with the Knicks because it would actually violate NBA bylaws. FIU just didn't have anything going. They didn't even win more than 11 games in a season with Isiah. So basically, FIU just sucked. Yeah, so Isiah Thomas is still president of the New York Liberty. He's known for his philanthropic work with young people in Chicago's West Side because, that's a bad, violent part of Chicago. So, anyway. Isiah was a basketball prodigy. His future wife, Lynn Kendall, who was the daughter of a secret agent and a nurse. Wow, that's nice. He has 3 kids, 2 sons, Joshua and Mark, and Lauren, a daughter. All that. Isiah Thomas was in a sexual harassment lawsuit in 2006 that had to be settled for $11.5 million. So Isiah was basically a fantastic person and all that. I was never retired, doing pretty well, winning 2 titles. He was a 19 points per game person with 9.3 assists in his 979 regular season games with the Pistons 2 NBA titles, 20.4 points a game in the playoffs, 8.9 assists. Not bad. His head coaching record, not that bad. He was better in Indy than New York, that's for sure. Yeah. He just wasn't that good of a player, I guess. So anyway, Isiah Thomas is still a decent player. Heck, he helped the Raptors in its infancy. Why hate on the guy? Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.